Okay, almost finished product. Just gotta make some kind of weight for the block so that it works nice without a load, but cordless drill. Going up and high, it won't do it with that much weight. Anyway, yeah, worm gear, boat winch from Harbor Freight, and some doing. So what happened is I had two engine stands that sat out, rusted, got just crappy. One had a really bad bent boom. So that leg's actually going to be to stiffen up the frame of the trailer I'm working on here, make that tongue continue at least to that next cross member. But what I've done is I welded on a pulley up there where the original hook is now a swivel. Made me a block with a nice ball bearing swivel hook. Ooh, I'm trying to learn this phone. Anyway, welded this out because it would forever let down. Now it will never let down. Freshly white lithium grease, that's why it's all messy. This damn cog came painted, so you got to run it a bunch of times, wear the paint off, and it'll start to smooth out. But Harbor Freight. Comes with 25 foot of cable. I can tell you with this setup and an 8-foot boom at 45 degrees, you need 30 foot. That 5 foot makes a difference. Otherwise, you run out of cable when you spool all the way down. I got the hand crank. The hand crank on these is really neat. They did it nice. It's an actual 16 millimeter nut with a removable handle, so putting a power drill on it's easy. And I don't know if you can see that, but I'm lifting a 1,200 pound trailer like it's nothing. And worm gear stops where you stop. Instead of all the ratcheting, it's much slower, but that's okay. You can fine tune, like if you're trying to set something up for a weld or whatnot. My advice, with the hook all the way to the ground, your cable should be spooled from the start all the way to the other side and at least 2 wraps coming back. Then it's just right. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to go below the ground anyway, so. But if you have too much cable, this gets too big around and puts way too much load here. If you have too little cable, you run out of cable. I mean, it's obvious what'll happen. And the reason I need to put some weights on there, I'm thinking about 40 pounds on that block, is it keeps tension on the cable so that when there's no load on the block, the wire will stay spooling correctly. Because if I take all the weight off, that has only just enough weight right now to keep this from basically backlashing like a fishing reel. If you take everything off the cable, this thing will fray out so bad, it's just terrible. And I know a lot of people say, why don't you put a power winch here? Well, I could, and I thought about doing it, but the best answer is seeing. Our shop is meant to keep cool, so things get wet. Dew, rain, whatever. It's just for working on everything from the Freightliner to whatever. It's got a 15-foot eave, probably roughly a 20-foot peak. Those are 9'6" containers to give you an idea. So you get a lot of airflow. It's comfortable. So this is going to be in the weather, and this doesn't get used often. We got a big gantry crane we're about to put up, so this will be just for small projects here and there, which is why a power winch would not be so nice, because then you have electronics going bad. This, it's simple. Just grease it up. It can sit here forever. The cable's going to rust out before this is a problem. And if this little, what is it, 18 volt cordless drill, porta cable, 18 volt, yeah, sorry, I suck at filming. If that little nothing can lift that whole trailer, you get a decent cordless drill or any power drill, it's going to run it till something breaks. Or you can turn the hand crank, which again is woefully slow. That's as fast as I can crank the handle. Yeah, so you're not going to use this handle except for fine tuning. Anyway, I figured I'd show my little thrown together shop crane setup. Just warning everyone who wants to try this. I don't know how long the original boom was, but it wasn't 8 foot. It's strong at a 45-degree angle, and that puts the lifting block 6 inches past or inside of the caster, so it doesn't try to tip the whole contraption forward. If your lifting block is beyond that, it will just tip over, it won't lift. The factory boom didn't go quite like that, but this is so much nicer than trying to pump that jack handle and it constantly letting down. It is just a pain in the butt. Anyway, just finishing up my little homemade 3-rail motorcycle trailer. I added that longer tongue and it started feeling a little bouncy when empty, and figure this didn't go far enough back. It's letting the trailer flex, so it's going to continue there with that leg and be bolted through the whole frame, deck and all. That should stop it. But yep, my little project trailer and project crane. Just figured I'd throw that up there in case anyone else was curious about building a really simple shop crane that would last a very long time. Even longer if I take the time to just re-spool it with some stainless cable, which does exist. Anyway, I'm not really much of a YouTuber, so I just throw up random shit.